everybody? I'm Mr. Hamilton.
And I'm Josh.
Welcome back to On the Couch, and today we are reviewing none other than Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Woo!
Easily one of Marvel's most anticipated movies besides Far From Home. There's a lot to unpack in this.
Yeah.
There is a lot to unpack in this. So, before we go any further, make sure you guys support the channel. Hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you guys get your seat on the couch. Get notified when we drop new content. Now that that's out the way, we're going to do a non-spoiler review first, and then on the back end, we're going to do our full spoiler review. So, yeah. I'll open up things with... The movie looked good. The movie was visually a very good movie.
Yeah. Everybody had great performances. That was another great
The acting was great. There wasn't anybody that took me out of the film.
Well,
at least for me. Who for you kind of went different?
I always hold young actors to a high standard because, you put a kid in a movie, my expectations automatically kind of drop because I'm like, oh snap, there's a kid there, and if you know anything about it, it's a kid there. So that's what kind of shook me up for the acting. They were still good, but they weren't no Macaulay Culkin.
Let's see what else. Without discussing major plot points or anything, I will say the movie moved at a decent pace. Like it didn't get stuck too long. Like when it started out, it was kind of like, here's Doctor Strange now, this is where he's at, and boom, let story begin. And once it began, it just kind of snowballed from there and just kept going and going and going and going. I will say there is a couple parts that kind of bogged it down a little bit, but for the most part, it was easy to follow.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fan service, and they definitely made sure to point out, okay, this is where we are in time, so there's none of that prequel things going on. This is where he is what he's doing right now, like you were saying. So definitely a clear plot. It was like an ABA format. So this was just, if anything, it's more like a placement movie for me, just kind of showing where the Marvel Universe is gonna go with their story overall.
Yeah, that's exactly true. I think here's how I see it. The last 3 Marvel movies have been huge epics. Infinity War, Endgame, and Far From Home or No Way Home have been these massive movies.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like Marvel has to literally wipe the slate clean, and now we have to revisit these characters after it and see what they're individually dealing with by themselves now. We've seen them team up for so long that now we have to go back and realize that these people are still people on their own.
Can have their own stories.
Exactly.
Yeah, but No Way Home was definitely a home run, bases loaded. And that's what you expect to see.
I also thought that maybe the anticipation of this movie may have gotten a little bit ahead of itself.
Well, it was like everybody had their own theories, and you spend so much time thinking of this story. And the movies that the fans probably had in their head was not what we got.
And that's not taken away from the movie at all.
No.
But like I said, I think the anticipation of what people built this movie up to be may have just gotten a little bit out of control, and I think that's where you're kind of seeing the bad ratings is probably from the people who had this Far From Home multiverse, just epic, seeing different characters and everything like that. I think that's where it kind of got out of hand and everything like that. Number 2 for me, this to me is not a Doctor Strange sequel.
No.
This is not Doctor Strange 2.
No.
This is Doctor Strange 1.5. This is Doctor Strange 1A. This is a side mission for Doctor Strange. This isn't like his... if you go and watch Doctor Strange 1 and then go watch Doctor Strange 2, yes, it's Doctor Strange, but it's not copacetic with
You're gonna be like, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't really. It doesn't really further. It does further his story, but not doesn't further his story.
I got more story out of What If. This could have been a What If extended clip.
Exactly, or it could have been it, or it could have been a WandaVision movie, like a continuation of WandaVision, because that's how it felt. It felt like it literally continues after WandaVision, because literally the last thing we see in WandaVision is her doing her little thing, reading the Darkhold, and then boom, this is what we get.
Yeah, it's like it was almost like a replica of WandaVision for a certain extent.
Because they included so much of the kids and her memories and everything like that. It felt like WandaVision played a lot more heavily on this than Doctor Strange did.
Yet nothing connected, almost.
Yeah. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, spoiler alert is now in effect. If you have not watched this movie and you do not want things to be spoiled, press pause right now, go buy your tickets, go watch the movie, and then come back.
Go flee.
And join us for the rest of this. Because now we're talking about everything. We're talking about plot points, cameos, everything. We're dropping names. So, once again, if you have not watched this, don't go any further.
I'm about to let it out.
3, 2, 1. Holy shit.
Bro, Wanda was the Debo. That's all.
Bro, Wanda, they let Wanda have the gloves off in this movie. When Agatha from WandaVision tells you that she is a Nexus level threat, they gave us the Nexus level threat of what Wanda is.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch want all the smoke. It's like, what?
And we dove into just how deep her powers run.
And it's like, even though they didn't have Magneto's presence there, you can tell that she is Magneto's daughter. especially when her and Professor X go at it. Mm-hmm. It almost felt like an old rivalry. Yeah,
like when she got into his head. It almost felt like an old rivalry between him and Magneto.
Like, what you doing in my headspace again?
Exactly.
I told you about coming here. All the smoke.
Exactly.
Literally.
Exactly. But we'll get to those cameos in a minute. Okay, so how the movie opens up, Doctor Strange is having nightmares of him, but it's not him. That was actually Defender Strange, which is a totally different version of him. You can go look that up, but that's Defender Strange. Him and America Chavez are going through the multiverse trying to find the Book of Ashanti because something's chasing her. And pretty much Doctor Strange is having these dreams. He thinks there's dreams. He ends up finding out that they are memories. The main plot of this is that if you dream, your dreams are pretty much your experiences of you in the multiverse.
Quick side story. You ever seen Jet Li's The One? And if he killed off another version of himself in another universe, he himself got stronger. Well, Doctor Strange was connected to all those ones.
Exactly. So it's not just so much about traveling the multiverse, that there's an actual interconnection between your singularity and all your other people of who you are, which, finding out that America Chavez, she is actually the only one of her in the multiverse. She doesn't dream, so she literally is the only person to exist.
She is one of a kind.
She is one. She is the one. I liked her character.
I didn't really like her.
Here's where I had a problem with it. I'm tired of the I can't control my powers.
Yeah, and you know what? I got a lot of that. I got a lot of Runaway feelings from her. Like, and she even looked like one of the actresses that play in the Runaways, the one that had the beast powers. I got a lot of the same tribe from those two actresses.
Bro, I kept feeling like that. I couldn't put my thumb on it, but now that you said that,
I'm like, is that the same actress?
Yeah, but it's not. But it definitely gave me that vibe. But like I said, I'm kind of tired of the I can't control my powers. Somebody help me control my powers. Yeah. I think it would have been a lot cooler if she could control her powers and she could willfully travel in the multiverse, and Wanda has to kind of navigate behind them trying to do that. I think it would have been a lot cooler to see her fucking boom open up portals and they're hopping through portals like in and out of multiverses, as opposed to it just happening because every time she gets scared, it opens up.
I had a lot of issues with it. If you watch on Marvel Heroes Rising, it's about the young up and coming Avengers like Miss Marvel. Her character was in there too. I can't remember her name for her superhero code name, but when she punched the ground or punched things, that same star appeared. And from my understanding, Miss America. Okay, and from my understanding, like she was actually related to like Captain America's Connolly in some way or form. So it's like, for her to be around, and then they showed a version of Captain America, not Captain America, Captain Marvel there, and it didn't really resonate with protecting our own people, or going into those details, or even like showing how she even got to this point. I understand.
It was once again it was rushed. Yeah. It was just like,
yes,
and that whole scene where they step on the little memory pads, that was like. How do you explain it? It's just a coincidence. It just so happens to be that this world has a thing that can show you your memories, and it just so happens that they both step on it, and they both get to see each other a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just exposition.
Very convenient.
It's just plot. It just was just to move the plot forward. I was like, oh, that was convenient that this and that memory was the one that it showed.
Yeah, and then it felt like they did cop out because, like you were saying, if she did have more control, they would have had more of a Tony and Peter relationship, and going through the hero growing pains as opposed to. And
that's my other thing. Yeah. I'm kind of tired of the Tony Peter, old Avenger, young Avenger.
The torch has already been passed.
Yeah, let's move past that, guys. We understand that there's kids and everything like that, but let's move past it and let's give the people the shine that they really do. Because in the comic books, America Chavez, Miss America, whatever, she technically can fly. She has super speed. She has super strength, and all they really focused on was that she didn't even really know she had super strength until she went to go punch the wall and she realized, oh, I can really do this. You're telling me that she never threw a punch?
Yeah, she never really tried hard. She would stay relying on others. Exactly. And that's the dynamic that was trending through their movies. And the thing is, Doctor Strange, his character, that actor, he didn't do a bad job. He did a great job. The scenes where they had Doctor Strange doing his thing were great. It's just that when
that first fight.
Oh yeah, that was smooth.
The first fight, when he saw the thing going down and he just drinks his drink and just kind of falls over the balcony with the cloak coming on, that was so dope. And he's so smart because he was he's sitting there watching it, he's like, oh, this thing's invisible. Oh, well, now we all see you. And Wong was dope. I like the way he came in kicking ass.
They all came in smooth.
I want Wong to have his own Disney Plus series.
Yeah,
straight the fuck up. I want to see a Sorcerer Supreme series, and let's see where Wong, because in No Way Home he just be going and coming through portals.
Yeah.
So I want to know, where is he going? What is he doing?
He's been in multiple cameos. Doctor Strange finally bowed to him.
Let's give Wong some real credit and give him a show. I'm starting the petition right now. Hop in the comments if you guys would like to see a Wong spinoff on Disney Plus. Hop in the comments and let me know what you guys think.
Yeah, it's gonna be called Wong Gong.
Wong Turn. The puns are completely just
keep them going. This is the first fight he stayed for.
Yeah.
Usually it's a whole bunch of nope.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I was saying, Wanda, her character Scarlet Witch overshadowed Doctor Strange so much because it was just the whole good and bad thing was so interesting to watch. Her going crazy about the kids. She got mad at herself for defending her own kids. You understand that? She got mad at her other universal self for protecting her kids that she was trying to kill her other self for. Just think about that. Think about how crazy you got to be to do some shit like that.
Yeah. I will say that Elizabeth Olsen killed it in this movie.
Bro,
she absolutely killed it. I honestly think that this movie should have been called Scarlet Witch and the Multiverse of Madness. Like, this movie was Wanda stole this movie. It became her movie. Like, honestly, it became her movie. I will say shout out to the promo team for keeping her true identity and her true plot out of the trailers, because we were so far wrong.
Turned around.
We thought this was going to be a team-up situation. We did not expect to see her to be the real villain in this movie.
We thought she was helping.
And when she was like, yeah, nah, like, I'm coming after you full force. This is me being nice right now. Now, guess what? The gloves are off. I'm coming after you with everything I got.
And we saw what unreasonable was when the main protagonist was in front of the Illuminati, telling them you need to worry about Scarlet Witch. You think I'm a threat? You think I'm the biggest threat? And I'm telling you right now, you need to worry about her. She want all the smoke.
Number two, this is such a Sam Raimi film. Like, I don't know if you've watched like Evil Dead and all that stuff. Like, I know you're not into horror stuff like that, but
Evil Dead is funny though.
For like horror fans who know Sam Raimi's type of filming, this had his handprints all over it, from the different shots, from the multiple characters kind of being on the same screen at one time, to the music, the fact that he had Danny Elfman. Like, Sam Raimi has always had Danny Elfman doing his music. He even had him doing his music in all the Spider-Man movies. So to see them click up back together, because the music, the score in this shit was out of hand.
Oh, the music fight between the Doctor Stranges, that was perfect.
It was insane. It was just another way to amp up the magic powers of Doctor Strange.
Like how creative he has to be with his powers and can be with his powers.
Especially when he has to fight himself, because he knows himself can do the same thing. Like, how do you fight yourself when you know how strong you are?
Perspective, because he saw that harp and what was it, Defender? I will call him Illuminati Strange. Thought he was so strong and had him.
It was Sinister Strange.
Sinister Strange. They was fighting with Third Eye.
Yeah,
it was like three of them, because it was Illuminati Strange that they killed off. Defender Strange that
was in the first part, and then the ending was Sinister Strange.
That with the eye,
with the third eye.
Oh, speaking of the ending, so we did catch the first post credit scene with the chick with the purple suit.
Charlize Theron.
I believe. Okay, now who was that?
Clea.
Where's she from?
So Clea in the comic book, she is the Sorcerer Supreme of the dark world, or what is wherever Dormammu's from, the dark.
Dormammu.
Yeah, because she opened up the thing to where Dormammu leads. She's the Sorcerer Supreme in that world. In the comic books, her and Doctor Strange end up like becoming married. That becomes her wife, or that becomes his wife, and they have their own little relationship. So I'm guessing that's going to be the third movie, and how they kind of
branch off
and go into that. So that's who that was. Once again, usually we know what the cameos are and people that we're going to see, but this one we got misled a lot. So we'll talk about the cameos that did show up. We had Captain Carter. The funny thing was that everybody was very split down the middle about the screenshot of the person flying through the air, and either people thought it was Superior Iron Man, or they thought it was Captain Marvel, but it was Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel, which we find out is Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel and Professor X. But for me, the surprising one was Black Bolt. I didn't expect to see Black Bolt at all.
I was happy as hell to see him.
It was very refreshing to see him. It was very refreshing to see his. I didn't like Inhumans, but I did like that they used the same actor to play him.
I rocked with Inhumans. I loved that whole series. A great plot, not a lot of action, I will say that, or like special effects, but it was still a great story, and I enjoyed that show.
But they did a good job making sure that kind of the whole continuity, shout out to fans and everything like that, knowing who plays who, and giving them a chance to come back and kind of be in the bigger scheme of things when it comes to like the MCU.
And if you're wondering why Black Bolt was there, you have to be familiar with the Illuminati comic book series and that whole lineup there. And from my understanding, the old school Illuminati from the comic books in the early 2000s had Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Professor Xavier, Magneto, and the ones that they had, it was a couple switched out, and that just blew that threw me off. I was still happy to see the cameos we got, like Reed Richards.
Yeah, and also seeing John Krasinski as playing him, because as most of our Marvel fans know, we've all wanted to see him play Reed Richards, and we're hoping and praying that he's still going to be the one in the new Fantastic Four. But Marvel definitely gave us a little teaser of seeing him playing Reed Richards. It would have been nice to see him use his powers a little bit more, but he got turned to silly string real fucking quick. Yeah. There's times in this movie I thought it should have been rated R.
I didn't know they were gonna kill off so many people the way they did, and that's again why Wanda was Debo. Doctor Strange tried to tell him she on the way, hide the kid, hide the chains, and they ain't listening.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. She is coming. We gotta get the fuck out of here. You guys are not listening to me. And then she came in and wrecked shop.
Only one left was Mondo. That's his name.
Who?
Mordo. Mordo, that's his name.
Here's my problem with Mordo. This is the one thing I didn't like, because, and this is why I said this is not a Doctor Strange sequel, because in the first one, the post-credit scene, he is going around stealing magic to power himself up because he does not like Doctor Strange, and he feels like Doctor Strange is a threat. Mm-hmm. I'm going to come back to that thought because something else just popped into my head. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Civil War?
Yeah.
Or no, not Civil War. Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they had that program that was installed into the jets or the big flying aircraft, the helicarriers, and they could pick out threats, and they were just going to kill all the threats.
That's what they needed.
And then remember that one dude, the bald dude, they had him on the thing, and he starts running off a list of people who could possibly be threats.
Right.
And Stephen Strange was one of the names to be a threat. And so for me, back then we were thinking maybe it's just because he's really strong, but now that you've come back, every multiverse that they kind of went to, every one of them said Doctor Strange is the biggest threat to the multiverse. Period. Not anybody else. It was Stephen Strange. So I was thinking that maybe Hydra was already onto something before we even thought about how dangerous or how powerful Doctor Strange really is.
Well, you got to think about who's run Hydra at the end of the day, and if it's not Red Skull, it's not some third party villain, it's the Skrulls to me. Yeah. And the Skrulls deal with all that space, aliens, and multiverse madness too. And so they understand. They probably knew who Stephen Strange was, and as soon as he pop up, off him.
Yep. So that to me was an interesting loop back of really thinking about how things get set up in the MCU and stuff like that. For one, I really like the horror element in this movie.
There was so much in the Marvel movie.
Yes. There was times when I was like, damn, Marvel, what are you guys went dark on this. Like, there's the scene where she's in the little reflective mirror thing
and starts snatching people,
and she starts, and the way she looks around, and her reflections are all dysmorphed and everything like that. Oh yeah, and then when she just starts yanking people through pools, when she came through that gong and she was like,
she ain't have to pop lock like that.
Yeah, she did the whole Exorcist. But hands down, the best scene was when she comes and she possesses her former body or other body, and she gives the camera where she looked directly into the camera. That was I have never felt more chills down my spine. It was almost as if Scarlet Witch literally looked into the theater and was like, "Y'all niggas is next."
Say something, I dare you. Get in my way.
Exactly. You know what this is, and you guys can't stop me at all. It was good. Now here's the thing. I've read around that the movie was supposed to be 40 minutes longer. I personally would like to have seen what was cut, because we didn't get Superior Iron Man. Deadpool and Spider-Man were rumored to supposed to have showed up. I want to know what got put on the chopping block, because the movie did move at a good pace, but at the end of it, it did feel like they were in a hurry to wrap things up. And what I read was a lot of the editing wasn't necessarily done by Sam Raimi and his team. Is once he submitted it to the studio went in and did their editing, and they hacked a lot of stuff off. So, and will we see the the Sam Raimi cut? You know, I'm really kind of tired of that. The fact that with the whole Snyder cut thing, that now everybody is expecting a director's cut right off the bat. But this is definitely one movie that 40, because usually director's cuts are maybe like a couple of minutes, 15 minutes here longer. But 40 minutes?
Yeah, that's a long time.
40 minutes? You guys, there's some serious story that we missed. And who knows what it is that could have made the movie. Because for me, I don't know, what would you rate the movie? Okay, so let me explain the rating system for On the Couch. We rate things here by couch cushions, and it's between 1 and 5 couch cushions.
Okay, cool.
So that's how we rate things. So for you, how would you rate this movie?
3 couch cushions. Good action, good acting, and good visual effects. But I know that like you said,
what made you dock it 2 points?
Oh, nah, let's move it on to that. Like this one, like you were saying, things were rushed. Okay, and I felt like there were too many holes in the story. Yes. And like that we just kind of skipped, and I couldn't.
There was things that got swept under the rug.
Exactly.
Like they just kind of just popped up, and before we could ask questions, it was just
okay, bye.
Exactly. We're just gonna move on from that. I'm pretty much in the same boat. Like I would definitely, it's between 3 and 3.5, like a half a point. For me, the downside of the movie was that yes, it definitely felt rushed. At the end of once you got done from the movie, you definitely feel like I could have sat through another 20 minutes.
I felt blue balled.
Yeah, I definitely could have sat through another 20 minutes and felt full off of what was going on.
Yeah. I didn't fall asleep. Yeah,
I'll dock it another point because I feel like the hype of itself was also the downfall of itself. Yeah. It sucks to have to dock it a point off of that because you can't really help it when you're coming off the heels of No Way Home. But I just also think like we saw Multiverse and everybody just kind of
it gotta be good, right?
we thought this. So for me is how I summed this up was, yes, this had the multiverse in it, but I feel like this movie had a lot less at stake when it comes to the multiverse as opposed to what happened in the end of Loki.
Right.
And everything else that we've known about the multiverse. Like this right here wasn't as serious as we thought it was going to be. We thought the multiverse was going to be a lot more serious. We thought it was going to be a lot more mystical and this and that. And it really kind of just wrote off the multiverse in this one. Like, hands down, the most thing that has taken the multiverse the most serious has been Loki, the TV show. Between the TVA and whatever the variant of Kang is doing, that's multiverse.
I seen more variants of Thor and Loki in that series than I would have liked to seen in Doctor Strange, especially because it was a multiverse of madness. I had higher expectations for knowing how vast a Marvel multiverse was.
Exactly, that's circling back to the problem with America Chavez was just you have this person who can literally open up. She said she's been to 73 different multiverses, and how many did we see? Like 1.
So you a C student. It took you 73.
We saw 2 multiverses.
2 out of 73.
Bro, like that's the thing. Like I feel like tack on the extra 40 minutes and let us visit some more multiverses. Like,
or put in some more Easter eggs so we can still be a fan and develop our own stories.
Exactly.
Like I'm a fan of the Exiles, and that's like the multiverse police force.
And so, like for me, like I said, I still enjoyed the movie, but I definitely think that like here's the MCU timeline. This was just kind of a little like dink, like a little exit and then come back on.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Thor and Love and Thunder is going to get back to the MCU. Like, we're going to really get back to what the MCU is.
We're preparing the MCU for intergalactical battle. Like we did.
Intergalactical and interdimensional.
Yeah.
And everything else like that.
So you still you think that was Sinister Strange at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
100% it was Sinister Strange.
Because when the movie ended, he was finna walk like it was a regular day, and then the eye opened on him. And then it went back to when he was with the old girl that you said that was his wife in another dimension, and then he already had the eye. Was that the same Strange?
So,
what do you think it is?
I think it's the same Strange.
Okay.
But I think he's either because here's the thing. The reason why I think it's happening like that is because he did tap into
Senator Strange.
Exactly. So I think that's a part of him that's always going to be there. Number two, I think the whole third eye thing is a callback to the first movie where when he first meets the Sorcerer Supreme, or the Ancient One, when he first meets the Ancient One, and she tells him, "Open up your eye," and she like sends him off into space.
Yeah.
And we were thinking like, oh, she's telling him to open up his third eye, like his mystical eye. I literally think she meant literally open your third eye.
Yeah, that's how good you need to be.
Exactly. So I think when he like freaked out hearing the music and everything in his head, I think a piece of Sinister Strange is inside him, but that third eye thing, I think we're gonna see him having to figure out how to control that again.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing about Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange,
a little greedy.
But he always has powers that he has to like not overcome but control. Yeah. Because he's the master of the mystical arts, like. And in the comic books, sometimes he can get a little OP. Like, even in some of the animated stuff, the shit that Doctor Strange can do is honestly scary.
If you watch What If, and when Ultron does his universal attack, that Doctor Strange eats like a piece of bubble gum, that tells you right there how strong and how creative he has to be, which makes his power so OP, because it's pretty much... it's tempting to him. Like, he could do whatever he wants, but he still stays.
The fact that he knows that he can absorb people's powers and use them as his own.
Exactly.
And so, and we got a little taste of that here because, and that's another thing. Like, we saw a lot of powers that we just didn't know where they came from. Mm-hmm. The fact that he could sit there and do the whole dragon thing. It's like, dude, when did he get that power?
What was that 15 minutes ago?
You know what I'm saying? Or like when he like used the wolves as hands to like grab the spear and this and this and that.
Oh yeah, like that would have been great towards Thanos, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, when did he get the upgrades? You know what I'm saying? When did he go back to Camartage? And that's another thing. Like, what are they doing with America Chavez being at Camartage? Like, in the comic book, she doesn't have magical abilities. She just has that ability. Like, so I'm just very. I just want to know. Like, I obviously like I know like the MCU. Like they do things a little bit different, add, take away, whatever. I did like the shout out knowing that the Earth that we're in is 616. Like most of us have already known that, but for it to be 100% confirmed fucking 10 years later, but
right, fine.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've touched on most of all the points that I wanted to. You got any more?
I mean, there's a few things I still can say. Just like with Murdoch, and remember from No Way Home, Ned, that could be Hobgoblins, and Doctor Strange left him alive. Mm-hmm. And if they got America or whatever, First Face training to be a mage, where is he? Where is he going to be? Is Peter still out there with no name, still being Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange is like got that hidden in the back of his mind somewhere? Is that just going to pop up at one time to bring all this back full circle after they're done doing this intergalactical travel? So it's still a lot of slack for a storyline they left there, and I think that was intentional, was why this movie felt so unfulfilling. And I digress.
So you're saying that maybe it was more unfulfilling for it to be more fulfilling
later,
because according to what I do know, I think they're doing like I've called it after the Infinity Saga. I feel like the MCU is about to get very dark.
It shows it. Yeah.
Between Blade, Black Knight, I think they're supposed to do some werewolf movie. I feel like there is going to be a very dark period of Marvel movies where we're going to get a lot of dark shit, like vampires and all this other crazy stuff.
A lot of cameos. We still haven't gotten in Ghost Rider.
Bro, like the stuff that can happen, like to get Marvel Knights pretty much is what we're talking about. Like the dark side of Marvel, the people that handle, because you gotta understand, there's levels in the MCU. There's your Iron Man in this who kind of take care of like galactical space, but like kind of like protect Earth from other superpowered humans and that kind of situation.
Data police.
But what there is the spiritual battle and like the spiritual realm of the mystical arts of like Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, all these people that are from like hell, that are from
Asgard,
yeah, they're from just different places that just know spells, witches, magic, demons, gods, devils, werewolves. Like I think we're going to start experiencing a lot more of the crazy shit, like the more dark things, because this movie got really dark when Doctor Strange was a zombie and he started using the dark souls to his advantage. Like that was some dark shit.
That was a dark movie. That was a taste of what could happen, even with down to the zombie apocalypse happened with the taking over bodies from Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange.
Exactly, like the darkness of this movie is out of control. One question I do want to ask you: is Scarlet Witch dead or no?
No.
Oh no, exactly. One thing we've learned from the Marvel movie: unless they show us a dead body,
they not dead.
They're not dead. Even if they do show us a dead body, does not mean that they're dead.
They can always come back.
Literally, she dropped it on herself, and once everything hit, we saw that little flash of red. And I think it was just her. I'm pretty sure she brought everything down because at the end she kind of realized what was happening, but I don't think she was going to kill herself.
No, I don't think. I think her magic is too powerful. She's like the magic version of Phoenix.
Exactly. I feel like the magic inside of her would not let her be harmed.
Right.
Like, even if she wanted to kill herself, I feel like the magic would take over and protect her body from being harmed.
Yeah, she just had 4 giant boulder bodyguards that fell off. I'm sure like they could even write in that was the rock that fell on top of her and that never really hurt her.
Exactly.
And that was the magic leaving the rock.
Exactly. So I think there's plenty of. I would love to see her be a huge villain down the road. I would love to see her be. I really want to see more of her in this evil witch.
Listen,
thing.
We seen Professor X and Scarlet Witch together in a Marvel Cinematic film. That's already plenty of room for the X-Men because she killed him, bro. She killed him. If that ain't reason to go knock on Magneto's door, like your daughter did some things I need to.
It's wilding out right now, bro. Like,
they going crazy in the house. Yeah.
So ultimately, like I said, this movie was enjoyable from start to finish. It had its problems. It had its problems, but ultimately, it was a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Have fun. Get scared. Get ready for that.
Feel some kind of way.
Yeah, but once again, it's Marvel. Marvel is always gonna do more good than wrong. I feel like if you were disappointed in it, I think maybe you just hyped up the movie too much in your own head. Yeah. And you probably got disappointed from that, which is why I want to go see it again, because I feel like I did that. I feel like I did that to myself. I had hyped this movie up so hard in my head that not that saying it disappointed me, but I think that going back and I know what I'm going to expect, I can sit down and actually dive deeper into the story and look for things. And because before I was trying to wait for like, man, where's Iron Man? Where's this? When are we going to see this? When are we going to see that?
Trying to check it off the list.
So yeah, now if I go back, I can be like, all right, I know none of this is happening. I know what's going to happen. Let me sit down and watch this story for real, find my Easter eggs, and really just sit back and take in the story.
And be a fan. If you need someone to talk to, we always here on the couch. Leave some comments. We'll talk about it, and we'll get through it together.
Exactly. So, with that being said, guys, thank you guys for joining us on the couch. Before we do go, if you guys enjoyed this review, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, support the channel, get your seat on the couch. Like you said, leave us a comment. If you guys saw the movie, tell us what you thought. If you guys liked our review, let us know. If you didn't like our review and you think, maybe we missed some stuff, let us know what we missed. Let's have a conversation, guys.
We're
not saying that we're right and you're wrong. But this is a conversation.
We gotta talk about it too.
Exactly. Imagine yourself sitting on the couch and we all sat here and we just expressed our feelings towards it. So, new exciting things are coming on down the road. On the Couch podcast coming soon. We got a lot of cool stuff that is in store for our fellow nerds and stuff like that. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Like I said, thank you guys for joining us on the couch for another movie review. Once again, I'm Mr. Hamilton.
And I'm Josh.
Peace.
Out.